How to overcome procrastination for entrepreneurs. Welcome, everybody. If you are here for the first time, my name is Salwa. I am a business and marketing coach and a digital nomad currently in Vienna. Today, we are talking about overcoming procrastination. And yes, this one is a big one, especially when you are running your own business. And I am a big victim of that one too. And today, I am going to share with you a few tips on how to overcome procrastination. First of all, what is procrastination? What it simply means is not doing what you're supposed to do or putting things off for later, habitually or intentionally. There are a couple of reasons why we are procrastinating. And today I want to share with you a few. Number one, in today's day and age, with everything that's going on, we are simply confused on what are our priorities. Second, it's simply a lack of internal motivation. Third, lack of setting daily habits. And fourth, we simply don't have the desire of accomplishing that task. So you're going to ask me, well, okay, but what are the solutions? Relax. I put together a few of the solutions and things you can start doing today to overcome procrastination. So here are my solutions for you today. Number one, get very clear on what is a priority for you. For me, for example, my priorities are, if it doesn't make me healthy, happy, better, or making me money, I'm not making time for it. What are you setting as a priority in your life? Start there. The second solution or tip I have for you is to create a set of daily successful habits that consist of a morning routine, a workflow, and also setting up your environment. So let's talk about the morning routine first. The first thing I recommend is to get this book called The Miracle Morning by Hale Elrod. And you will see in this book, he talks about how to set up a really successful morning routine that is going to help you in the long run with your life. So my morning routine consists of meditating, exercising, setting goals, and journaling. I try to do this every day. Obviously, some days it's really hard because I have a lot on my plate, but I try to at least do that. And if you look at my calendar or my schedule, you'll see that every morning from 7 to 9, this is my me time. This is my morning time. So I set that up first. This is my priority because once I'm good here, then I can be productive and accomplish a lot more for my day and for my work, and everybody else around me is happy. The second thing I recommend is that you have a structured workflow. But what I can tell you is I divide my day by things. So for example, Mondays is the day I focus on business development. Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are only for my clients. Wednesdays is sales, prospecting, and bringing more income and profit into my business. Friday is content creating. Saturday, I catch up on other things that need to get done for me. And then on Sunday, it's my off day. Today, I just want to tell you, you need to really have a structured day in order to be organized and also be productive. And the third thing I recommend is to have a good environment to work. What that means is that if you don't know how to set boundaries with your family and you have a home office and everybody comes and bother you every minute, you're not going to be able to focus and get work done. If your room is messy or things are all over the place, it's usually a representation of state of mind. So really find an environment that you feel really good in so you can work. So for example, one of the things that I love to do when I work is to have an office space or a room here. I'm in this room, beautiful Vienna. I really love it. And there's usually plants around me. I have candles, I put incense. I love this music called Chill Hop. It's a playlist you can find on YouTube. I put that in the background and then I focus. This is really my area. I really love working that way. So find what works for you and put you in a good mood so you can be productive. There's one rule I want to share with you. It's the 5-second rule. You have 5 seconds to activate that thought you want to accomplish. So for example, waking up in the morning is a hard one for everybody. So once your alarm hits, just count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you hit 1, you get up right away. If you wait, you will not gonna do it. Hear what it states about the 5-second rule. The 5-second rule is simple. If you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds or your brain will kill it. The moment you feel an instinct or a desire to act on a goal or commitment, use the rule. If you do not take action on your instinct to change, you will stay stagnant. The next step I have for you is to accomplish the most important task or the hardest task first. If you do not do the things that are most important right away, what's going to happen is you're just going to drag that weight on your shoulder with you until you get it done. And talking about doing the most important things first, have you heard about the Eisenhower box? And if you haven't, I'll put a link down below and you can also see this image right here. So the Eisenhower box basically states that you have 4 different categories on where you're going to put your task. But first, you have to figure out what are your priorities. Eisenhower box is divided in 4 sections: urgent, not urgent, important, not important. And based on how important or urgent this task is, you'll be the judge of that. Then you'll decide what to do with it. I want to give you a few extra tips to think about, so I'm hoping this will help you with overcoming procrastination. Number 1 is to forgive yourself. Sometimes I still feel very guilty that I haven't accomplished things that I had in mind and things that I wanted to get done. So I forgive myself, and instead I look at what I have accomplished so far, and then I realize, wow, I'm actually doing a lot, so I'm okay. Same for you. Forgive yourself. Tomorrow is another day. We'll do it again. You'll start over and you'll be fine. Next tip: minimize distractions. This is really important. So one of the things that I do in order to stay massively productive is time blocking. So I block my time, I put my phone on airplane mode, I'll tell everybody not to bother me, and then I focus on that project. If I have to take a couple hours, I'll do that. I also want to share with you that you need to minimize distraction. So if you do not have the opportunity to take 2 weeks off to create that course or to really focus on something, then you need to set the boundaries with the people around you. Maybe your family, your kids, your husband, anybody else. You need to have that conversation and say, hey, mommy needs 2 hours every day to focus on her business. You need to understand that, honey. You need to focus on your business, because the better your business grow, better you grow, the more system you have in place, the better you are, and everybody can benefit from it. So have that conversation. If you want a great book to read, there's one called Boundaries, and I'll explain how to do that, and I will put the link down below. Another favorite tips of mine is accountability partnerships. I have 2 accountability partners that I speak to about every 2 weeks, and then we just look at each other's goals, we set goals, and we support one another. I recommend you pick somebody that is not in your industry so you can get other ideas that are outside the box, but also so there's not competition, because sometimes, even my ladies, I love you, but sometimes we're kind of competing a little bit. We're like, she's doing this, she's going to tell me what she's doing. So let's not go there. Just pick somebody that's not even in your industry, and then support one another. And remember, it's always relationship, partnership over competition. Competition can be healthy, but I prefer to work with my girls rather than fight over something, because there's enough abundance for all of us in this world. So when you have an accountability partner, what you do is you set goals, and then realistic goals. Don't go by like, oh, I got to make $1 million by next Wednesday. Be realistic. As long as you progress, that's what's important. And one thing that I found that is really helpful is we actually give us incentives. So for example, if she doesn't do her homework assignments on time, like she said, then she's got to pay me something that I want, like boosting one of my ads, or spend some money on my Facebook ads, or something that is relevant to my business. And she would hate that, because she would want to do that for herself. And then vice versa. You can also do a spa day, dinner together, whatever you prefer, but give yourself an incentive or something that kind of hurts. An incentive in the positive and negative, by the way, something that'll move your booty and say, oh my God, I haven't done my assignments. Let's make this a priority. And then you can move that task into the priority box and then get it done by your next meeting. After all, it's only helping you. So get it done. I mentioned earlier to be organized. I recommend you have a to-do list. You can use some of the app. One of the apps that I love to use is Asana. There's another app that I use for productivity. It's called Productive. Those are the apps that I use that keep me organized. I also put all my goals on my Google Calendar, because if it's not scheduled, it's not happening. And I also use a time app called Focus Keeper. Focus Keeper is the app that actually allows me to time block. So I would go 15 minutes at a time. Sometimes if I need to work a couple of hours, I will still take a break every 15 minutes where I get up, move, stretch, and then go back to my seat. That way my body gets a little bit of oxygen and in my blood, and the workflow is a little bit easier. So it's my turn to ask you, what tips do you have on how to overcome procrastination? I'd love to know. Leave the comments down below. And I want to end with this last sentence from Seneca that says, while we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away. I hope you will remember that. If you have any question or comment, please let me know, and I would love to hear from you. See you next week. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you can be notified every time I have a new video. Thank you, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. We are completely confused on what are our priorities. We are completely confused on what our priority. Jesus Christ. Doing a lot of things to us. Don't. One more time.